You know that feeling when you're trying to build some flat pack furniture and the manual is just impossible? All these weird diagrams and tiny print? Well, what if I told you the source for today's explainer is kind of like that, but for the most complicated, incredible piece of tech you'll ever own? It's called the user manual, and today we're going to crack it wide open.
I mean, just think about that for a second. What if you actually came with a user manual? A clear guide that could tell you exactly how you operate. What are your default settings? What's your energy consumption like? How do you debug those glitches we all have? And maybe even install some new software. It's a pretty wild thought, isn't it?
Well, that's pretty much what we're going to do right now. We're taking all the dense, core wisdom from that source material and we're boiling it down into a practical, easy-to-follow guide for you. So, get ready. It's time to finally read your own operating instructions. All right, let's dive into Chapter 1, Your Personal User Manual. So the source material breaks this whole thing down into 3 core parts, and they are deeply connected. We're talking about your mind, your body, and what it calls your spirit, or you could say your higher consciousness. And trust me, understanding how these 3 things work together, that's the key to everything else.
Okay, on to Chapter 2, Hardware and Your Operating System. To really get a grip on this, let's just stick with that tech analogy, because it works so well. I want you to think of yourself as this super sophisticated biological computer. The manual says, first things first, you got to understand your 2 most basic parts, the hardware and the software that runs on it.
So let's break this down. On the one hand, you've got your hardware, that's your body. And it's not just a machine, right? It's where you feel things, it's where emotions show up physically. And the energy that powers it all? The source calls this chi. It's your vital life force. Then on the other hand, you've got your software. These are your thoughts, your beliefs. This is literally the code that's running your reality day in and day out. And the language it's written in? Words and symbols.
And here's the kicker. This isn't a one-way street at all. Your hardware and your software are talking to each other, constantly. It's this powerful feedback loop. Your thoughts can totally change your physical energy, and how you feel physically, that absolutely impacts your thoughts. It's just like the quote says, a continuous dance.
Okay, this next part is maybe the most important thing to grasp. Your operating system, it's not fixed, it's not set in stone. The source really zeroes in on this idea of neuroplasticity, which is just a fancy way of saying your brain can literally rewire itself. Just think about that for a second. It means you can actually uninstall old buggy programs that are holding you back, and you can install new, empowering ones. You can literally get software updates that change how you operate. Which brings us to Chapter 3, Programming Your Inner World. And this right here is where it gets really good. This is the how-to section. So if you can update your software, how do you actually pull it off? This is where you grab the keyboard and become your own programmer.
The manual lays it all out in a really clear 3-step process. Step 1 is to observe your code. This is all about using mindfulness to just watch. See what your automatic reactions are, what your subconscious beliefs are, without judging them. Step 2, write new commands. This is the active part. You use focused intention, affirmations, visualization, all these tools to define the reality you want. And then, Step 3, run the program. You have to actually embed that new code, and you do that through consistency, repetition, and practice.
I want to double-click on that second step for a moment, the right step, because this is a total game changer. The source material is really clear on this. Your words aren't just describing your world, they are creating it. The language you use, especially the stuff you say to yourself, is like programming commands. I love how the manual puts it. Your words are spells. They are literally shaping your reality.
All right, Chapter 4, Connecting to the Network. So we've gone deep on our own internal hardware and software, right? But the manual is very clear. We are not operating in some kind of bubble. Your personal computer isn't just a standalone desktop sitting in a corner. No, it's connected to a massive network. And this network has a name. The source calls it the collective consciousness. What is that? Well, it's this idea that there's this profound interconnected web of shared thoughts, beliefs, and energy that we are all tapping into and contributing to all the time. Think of it like a spiritual internet for all of humanity.
And this isn't some abstract idea. This connection shows up in really tangible ways. Every single thought you have, every action you take, it sends out a ripple that affects the whole network. You know that feeling of empathy you get for someone? That's you tapping into that shared experience. It means we're not just passengers living in reality. We are all actively co-creating it, together, right now.
Okay, here we are, the final chapter, Chapter 5, Becoming the Conscious Operator. So, what do you do with all this? Where do we go from here? The final part of the manual is all about taking the controls. It's about switching off that autopilot mode and finally becoming the conscious, deliberate operator of your own system.
And really, it boils down to this fundamental choice you see here. You can keep running on autopilot. The source calls this the ego. It's reactive, it operates from a place of fear and separation, and it's totally tied to all your past conditioning. Or you can make the switch. You can go into manual control. This is your higher self. It's proactive, it's connected, and it operates from a place of love, unity, and a much deeper wisdom.
And that right there is the ultimate takeaway. That's the mic drop moment of this whole manual. It's so powerful because it puts the controls right back in your hands. You are not just a spectator watching a pre-written story unfold. You are the conscious architect. You are the programmer. You are the operator with the power to shape your entire reality inside and out.
So there you have it. The manual has been decoded. The instructions are all laid out. The only question left is the one right here on the screen. Now that you've read the manual, now that you have this understanding of your own power, what are you going to create? What new program will you write? What new version of yourself will you build? The keyboard is yours.